Every nigga is a star. Who will remind that you admire? Every nigga is a star. 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 Every nigga is a star.
I ate the cheese at the start. Now I'm playing around and got farts. I ate the cheese from the start. Now I'm playing around and got farts. Ooh, played around with the cheese. Wait, ate the cheese from the start. And now I'm playing around and got farts. Pooh, played around, ate the cheese from the start. Bump, 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 bump. I'm lactose intolerant. Welcome back to another episode of Nobody Asked Me But the Shows, where I impose my opinion on you, and you care about it. I know you do. We're going to jump right in today. It's just me. Welcome back. This is our first episode of season 2. Woo! Very excited. It's been a great year. Well, great is subjective, but the first half of the year was really great, and then it fucking punched me in the face, pulled my hair, put nail glue in my olive oil bottle. Like, it just completely made an entire 180 in like the summer. And so, but the good news is that I am excited about a new year. And it's feeling pretty great, feeling pretty awesome about it. I'm going to be doing a lot of new things for the new year. We have some new segments coming up, so I'll introduce them a little bit later on. But they're, funny and lighthearted, and we're just going to try something new so that we can have something fresh to look forward to. I know everyone is still getting acclimated to the format of the show, but we're going to do some new things for you guys. And so we're going to start off nice and fresh with our Jet Beauty of the Week.
Boom, dynamite. Boom, boom, dynamite. Our team is boom, dynamite. Boom, boom, dynamite. Our team is tick, 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 tick. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some booty in it. Boom.
So our Jet Beauty of the Week. So right before the holidays started, I had what I would consider major health, crisis is strong, major health, I guess, emergency. And in that, I had to go to the doctor and go and get a colonic. And it's 2 shout outs. So first shout out is to Karen Chandler. So Karen Chandler is a beautiful, wonderful singer who is Trinidadian American. Love her down. And they have she and her husband own Affinity NYC, and they are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful wedding band, special event band. They can really sing. They can really play. They're always sweet and professional. So much fun. They're friends of ours, so shout out to them. She recommended me to this woman, a Bayesian woman, way up in Mount Vernon. And it was an experience of a lifetime because she literally read me for filth in the best possible way, telling me all the things that are wrong with me. And so on the inside, not like emotionally, but like physically. And so in my quest to conquer discipline this year, I truly believe that she was sent to me on purpose. And so she is up in Mount Vernon. Her name is Yvonne Cummings, and she is a colonic specialist. And so I'm going to drop her information in the description. So if you guys are ever feeling like you need to get some sort of cleansing going, which I strongly suggest, definitely look her up, hit her up. She's absolutely wonderful. The place is super clean, and she just gives you an honest approach about what's happening in your body, why it's happening. And it's actually really necessary, and it's actually bears to have another conversation about at a later date. But because that definitely needs to be a group, we'll save that for later. But yeah, Yvonne Cummings is absolutely wonderful. And so, yeah, by all means, go and check her out. And so now it's time for announcements. Well, actually, not announcements. Cut that part out. So right here, after we talk about our Jet Beauty of the Week, we're going to talk about people who have had the best week ever. So way back, maybe 10 years ago. No, before that. It's almost 20 years ago. VH1 used to have this show every Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, and it was called Best Week Ever. And it was like satire on all the things that had happened that week and how people were just doing crazy, crazy, crazy things. And so some of it was good, and others of it was just like crazy, just the way, you know, celebrity and fame work in it of itself. And so I think it would be really cool as a pop culture segment to incorporate Best Week Ever. And it can either literally be the best week ever, or it'll be something super sarcastic. So of course, you know, I'm a bit of a troll, and I'm okay with that. I feel like it's part of my identity. It's part of, you know, who I am. And here's who I stand, and here's who I am. If you know what movie that comes from, extra points for you. But anyway, I'm a bit petty. I'm a bit petty Pelosi, as I often like to call myself, because she too, an Aries woman, is very, very petty. And so sometimes when I'm petty, I'm not really trying to be mean. I'm really just trying to be funny, because I find humor and irony, and I find humor in things that are going on. But I say that to say that a few weeks ago, my girl, not literal girl, but the girl that I really like, Lori Harvey, I put her up as Jet Beauty of the Week because she's out here dating people. She's out here, you know, leaving texts unanswered. She's out here vacationing, looking toned, looking fabulous. By the way, she would look fabulous if she wasn't toned, but she just looks great. You know, her style is cute. She's just beautiful, and it's just like fun. She's just fun to look at. So she just had a birthday, and, you know, Future took her out. And, you know, took her out to, I say take her out, right? Like, my black ass is going around according to the Olive Garden. But he took her to, like, Jamaica, you know, took her out. Girl, that is a vacation. Anyway, so he took her out to Jamaica to have a vacay, which everyone is saying is very much like the same vacation he took his other baby mamas on, which I think is just hilarious. And out there selling her birthday, and the baby got charged for a hit and run. Now, earlier this month, it had hit the news that she was, I think, texting and driving, and got into an accident, and then kept it pushing, apparently. And so she's being charged with such, and so I guess she's having the best week ever. Nothing beats a birthday, a Jamaica, and then a jail charge. Future's gonna write a song about you, girl. I just know it. All right, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back. This episode of Nobody Asked Me But is brought to you by So Music Entertainment. If you're looking for a professional recording studio to record your music projects, podcasts, voiceovers, or whatever your audio needs are, for a reasonable price, look no further. Visit somusicent.com. That's SOHMUSICENT.com for more details. You can also follow them at SoMusicEnt, which is SOHMUSICENT on Twitter and Instagram for a free consultation. And a special shout out to Mr. Ash, the engineer who mixed and edited our podcast today. And you can follow him at Mr. Ash X, which is MRASHX. They have some of the best engineers here at Soul Recording Studios, so don't wait any longer to make your dream project a reality. Visit somusicent.com or call 929-900-6044 now. And let's get back to our show. All right, and we're back. And so, as I was telling you before, we're going to be doing some new segments. And so just because I think I think you guys like me a little bit, right? Like we are building kind of a rapport. We're kind of like feeling each other and such. I think it's time we, get to some fun stuff and let's talk a little bit more. So this next new segment that I'm still figuring out the placement of is called Mind Your Business. Now, if you'd bear with me, I want to find it because I feel like it is so very important for us to talk about what it means to mind our business, right? Now, when I say that, am I a nosy somebody? Sure. Absolutely. I have been nosy for quite some time. And I understand that. So we're not alone. But I do think that people specifically now, in these last 10 years, let's say, in this last decade, people have almost lost the art of minding their own business. Like, of course, social media plays a part. It is easy for me to blame everything on social media. So, sure, but also some of it is just plain on regular home training. But people have lost the art. And I mean, of course, if you're on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook all day, every day, you're not doing anything else but minding other people's business. So I want to dedicate this particular part of my show called Mind Your Business. So today, in Mind Your Business, apparently there is a somewhat alligator-faced looking white woman by the name of Jillian Michaels. And Jillian Michaels has essentially said something to the effect of this. Well, let me back up. So apparently, so for those of you who don't know who Jillian Michaels is a trainer. And she is a trainer of, she used to be the trainer on The Biggest Loser. And she used to get people into shape. And she's essentially built an entire empire on it. And so apparently she was on the BuzzFeed News' Twitter morning show from AM to DM last Wednesday. What a cute name, AM to DM. And the host asked her, or the host expressed her own admiration for Lizzo and how awesome she is. And she was saying, I really like Lizzo because of her image of self-acceptance and self-love and all that. To which Jillian Michaels says, why are we celebrating her body? Why does it matter? Why aren't we celebrating her music? Because it isn't going to be awesome if she gets diabetes. I'm just being honest. I love her music. My kids love her music. But there's never a moment when I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad she's overweight. Why do I even care? Why is it my job to care about her weight? She added. So that, of course, started a whole thing, right? And then I guess they asked her about it. She doubled down as far as her opinions are concerned. And she really just kept just doubled down on it and really tried to make sure she drove the point home that it's not, what good is it if we are what good is it if we are celebrating her body? Now, the problem that I have, of course, is the need to feel like because you are in a certain position career-wise that you feel like you can then police other people's bodies. And I almost feel like that's what she might have been trying to say. But Also, if you feel like, why do you care? And if you feel like, why are we celebrating her body? Why did you say anything? You could have just been like, yeah, my kids love her music and we love that, and that's it. You took it a step further and said, oh, why am I celebrating her body? Why do I care? But it's kind of like, girl, why do you feel like you have to say anything like that? Lizzo, and just so everybody who is listening to this is clear, as a person who is 5'4" and currently 255 and has been fat shamed literally my entire fucking life, which is an entirely different conversation. For all we know, Lizzo could be vegan. Who's to say that Lizzo don't work out every fucking day? Who's to say that? You see, people in society, niggas see somebody with a little extra something, a little something extra here, a little something extra there, and you are already saying that she has diabetes, she is sick, she got hypertension, why are we celebrating it? But. Listen, health is very important, but her being a bigger woman does not necessarily immediately equate to her being unhealthy. There are a bajillion different reasons why people are big. Some of it is genetics. A nigga can't help that. I had a breast reduction. I was a 42J at one point. That's because the women in my family are curvy. They have everything. They have boobs, they have butt, they have all types of stuff. I got a double helping of it. What you want from me? People used to call me unhealthy and this and that. And it's just like, you cannot seem to think that tearing me down about something that has nothing to do with you is going to make me say, wow, I should really go home and change my body because Jillian Michaels said, I'm going to have diabetes. No, bitch, fuck you. And worry about your empire. I don't need your help. You're so busy in my business. Now you got to, now you said all of this in a public setting, which I also don't understand. If y'all don't really care about it, right? Like if you don't care about the things that are being said, why are you saying it? That is perplexing to me. If you feel like no one should care, or why are we talking about it, or whatever the fuck, why are you talking about it? Why aren't you smarter about how you navigate the internet? Why aren't you smarter about your fat phobia? Let's put that out there. Why is fat phobia a thing? Like, why is fat phobia a thing with Black men in particular? It's really with everybody, if I'm being completely honest. I haven't met somebody in my life who hasn't said anything crazy to me, who hasn't asked me if I was pregnant 1,000 bajillion times. What the fuck is the problem? What's the problem? Your mama, your aunties, your cousins, your sister, all of them are 12 and above, and you know it. And now all of a sudden it's like, I'm not skinny enough, and I ain't got this, and I got this. Oh, we need to slim you down, and well, I guess you're pretty for a big girl. You need to get the fuck on. Okay? You have no idea what kinds of things people are going through. You don't know if people use food as a coping mechanism, which is a totally different thing. That's not that of the food. It's that of a mental thing. But again, has nothing to do with Lizzo. You assume that that's what it happens. It could be a bajillion different reasons. And it's like, y'all so busy talking about people being fat, but y'all haven't gone to therapy. People are just now getting into the idea of that. You are so busy following behind what somebody should and shouldn't eat and clean them out and this and that and I don't know why we're celebrating her body. I mean, like, it's not cool to get diabetes. It ain't, bitch, and I ain't got it. So what the fuck are we talking about? Are you my goddamn gynecologist? Are you my gynecologist? Doesn't check for sugar, LC. Oh. Are you my primary doctor? What the fuck? Are you my trainer? Have I don't remember asking you. I don't remember asking you. And it's just, I guess I'm particularly dying on this hill today because that is something I deal with on a absolute regular basis. And, you know, I don't want to wish anything on anybody. I don't know what's going to happen with my children when they come out, but their bodies are going to be bodies. Every person has a shape, a size. Not everyone is the same range of height everywhere. Range of weight is what I mean. And you can't expect people to not be mad at you. It's just dumb. It's just so very dumb. And I feel like in addition to this particular instance, I feel like people are putting so much not pressure, but everyone cares so fucking much about Lizzo's body. Like we've not seen naked people before. Like we all don't got the same shit. It's baffling to me. It's like the minute somebody has a role, everyone is like, run for the hills, that's an ass. Like, what are we even? And it just kind of goes back to like this idea that we shouldn't care, or this idea that she shouldn't be celebrated or whatever. You know, it just kind of feels like you're out here teaching about working out and that's the whole thing. And, oh, let's all look like white women. Because, by the way, the BMI charts are not for Black women or women of color. Because our bodies are built differently. So, you know, you want me to work out and get to a specific BMI, but if I get to that BMI, I'm going to look anorexic and then or even feel like malnourished, and there's a balance to it. And so I just feel like Jillian Michaels, you can go on ahead and mind your fucking business. Mind your business. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do at all. And she doubled down in and saying, oh, I love her music. My kids love her music. But there's never a moment where I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad she's overweight. Why? And it just is, it's just baffling to me. It's just baffling to me. And then yeah, I just don't understand what purpose she or anyone else gets in trying to, like, you wagging the finger at me is just not gonna say anything. Go fuck yourself. All right. That was like a little mini episode in itself, but that's okay. So now we're gonna move on to,
let's give them something to talk about. How about love? Love is good. I can't dig it. You know.
okay, so it's just me. And usually when it's just me, I love to take on something that I love, or someone, or talk about someone that I love. In particular, I just think it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a profile, if you will. I tried it once with, I loved my Beyonce episode, if I do say so myself. I tried one with, Jesus of Nazareth, but I'm so upset with him. Not the real Jesus. I think the appropriate name for Kanye West should be Nebuchadnezzar. So I tried to make an episode about Nebuchadnezzar, but I just don't care. I care, but like I'm just over talking about it. So maybe one day when I'm like in a better spirit, because when I did the show, it came out awful. I didn't even put it out. But maybe one day I'll revamp it and make it cute for you guys. But today, I want to do a part 1 of this very special artist. She represents the other side of, well, I would consider the main side of me. I would like to think, as far as my artistry and as far as like how I want to be presented, or how I think of myself of being presented in the world creatively, is a mix of these two people. So I have all the glitz and glam and pizzazz, and, or at least I feel like I do, and practice star quality and all that of Beyonce. But then I also have this very intuitive thinking, creative side, eclectic side, still with lots of beautiful star power and kind of this effortless way of being sometimes. I used to have it, not so much now. Now I'm kind of like rigid. But there's something really relatable to her sister, Solange Knowles. And so today is Nobody Asked Me, But I Need a Seat at the Table When I Get Home, part 1. So Solange Knowles started off, right, she came out right after Destiny's Child had been on the scene for a little bit. And she had some really, really cute singles. And I'm actually going to get to those on the part 2 of this episode, because there's something to be said about the first half of her career. But I remember when I got the notification that A Seat at the Table was going to be released. And so I got really excited because I remember True, and True was a fun album. It's actually where my favorite Solange song is on, Lovers in the Parking Lot. I absolutely adore that song. And I was really excited about where she was taking her career this time around. And so A Seat at the Table came at a good time for me because I was still at Kidville. Yeah, I was still at Kidville. Kidville was such a strange place for many different reasons. And and a lot of it was racial. A lot of it was, well, underlying racial, I think. Not fully racial, but some of it was very, very interesting. Well, no, a lot of it was racial, considering Bergen County. And if you live in Bergen County, if you're aware of what Bergen County is, you know what the demographic is. So, yes, it could definitely have gotten racial a few times in there. But it was also really a kind of a toxic and very abrasive environment from time to time. But also 2016, there were so many things happening over the summer and just with Black women in general. And we were kind of missing a political album that was still like a political album for girls. So we get political albums from men all the time. They almost drop them like once a season, right? So like you get one for fall, you get one Black Panther for fall, Civil Rights Movement for spring, Million Man March for summer, and it's holiday time, so like Donny Hathaway at Christmas. So men put those out all the time with those kinds of themes, but a lot of women are, even though they're talking about it, that particular year hadn't really, with the exception, of course, of Beyonce that put out a more of a self-political album, I would consider it. Like, it was a lot of things that was happening with her, but she was still talking about and bringing in all the things that were happening outside of us. So the two of them really that year in particular were talking about the experiences of Black women. What does it mean to be Black? What does it mean to be Black and working? What does it mean to be Black and successful? What does it mean to be in a relationship while being a Black woman? What does it mean when you are trying to have some sort of self-care? What does it mean when you are trying to have kids in this kind of society, when everyone is kind of dumping their opinions and their inferences and what you should do and what you shouldn't do and how you should sing and how you should, all of that was kind of happening and starting to really get under, I know for me, it was starting to get under my skin. Like, every day someone has something to say about me and my Blackness or whatever. I also, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm really not mistaken, I believe 2016 is the year that I was called a slave at my job. And so, really quick story. So I was working at a school, and basically, long story short, one of the girls got too close and, too close too soon, and thought it would be okay to say that I'd be the slave that she'd free. And so, of course, that's a fucking crazy thing to say. And I said, what kind of fucking thing is that to say? And she, skirted around it. And I said, she was just like, I was like, you just can't say stuff like that. And she's like, oh, well, you're just so cute. And I'm just like, I'm not going to be so cute when I, join the Black Panther movement and get a shotgun. So I try to let it go after that. It was a lot of back and forth through text. And then when I finally had the conversation in text message about it, and I said, it just really rubbed me the wrong way, she told me that I had turned it into a black-white thing, and that she was saying that I would be the slave that she would free as a sense of protection, which is grade A 101 slave master mentality. And so, I ended up, instead of punching her, because of course I need my job, and I can say all that now because it's all over and done with, but I just printed out the evidence through the text messages and handed it to the Black principal, and they called affirmative action. And her consequence was, when they asked me what I wanted, I said, I don't want anything. I want an apology and for our professional relationship to continue. And, she didn't want to do that. And so she ended up having, the consequence for her was to go to sensitivity training. And she didn't want to go. So that's the end of that. And so she went on, she ended up leaving the school, and I ended up having, later on after that instance, having to be transferred. But with all that going on in my personal life, considering what was happening in society at the time, it was a very timely album for me. And so, very, very timely album. And it was just very, sorry for all the blanks in between. I'm trying to get the songs up because my internet's acting weird. She just pinpointed all the things that we were talking about. It was just all the things that had been frustrating a lot of us. It was all the stuff that had been pulling at our heartstrings, and all the stuff that was really just turning us inside and out. And it's like, we're tired. We're so very tired. And Solange was like, all right, I'm tired too, girls. So let's be tired. So when she pulled out, so she started with the rise, right? Walking your way so you don't crumble. that is such an important way to start an album. Like, it punches you in the face. Because to think about walking in your way so that you don't crumble, for me, is a euphemism for be your truest self to yourself and to your highest power. For me, is God. And the best you can do that, the most you can walk in your way, you won't be able to crumble. You won't be able to succumb to what everybody else wants you to be. You won't be able to be this, I guess, frail puppet that someone else wants you to be. Walking your way so you can wake up and rise is just it's just affirming. It's just affirming that it's just like, you know, for Black women, everyone is going to always have something to say about us, good, bad, or otherwise. They're always going to copy us. They're always going to be upset at us. They're always going to blame us. It's always going to be us. But we know that if we are planted in our ways, and if we stick to that, when, you know, we'll be able to not only be stronger, but we'll rise above and we'll keep it pushing. And so that's also, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 is the year that we were punished with this person that is running the country. So I also think that song too, like, breathes really heavy. So she goes on to say that, and then she moves through the album. Weary was really good because she's just like, you know, I'm concerned about what's going to happen for my children. And I'm concerned about what's going to happen to me and what's going to, you know, my boyfriend, every day, I don't know, I think I told him this once, but my boyfriend is the sweetest, most non-assuming human being, non-confrontational, little nerdy, cute thing. And there are days that I am fearful that he leaves the house and he won't come back. Because he's reaching for his wallet. And he's just a person that is trying to live like the rest of us. When, you know, lately when either my mom or my sister and I, or even some of my friends are out, and, you know, everyone now is saying, text us when you get home. I used to be like, wow, that's just like, I'm going to try. I'm tired, or I'm drunk, or whatever. Black women are literally being taken every single day. That video of that girl who was legit about to be kidnapped in her own fucking Uber going to work, my G. I'm going to work to get a salary that doesn't pay enough because no one wants to raise prices of anything. No one wants to raise work wages, especially if you're a woman, especially if you're a Black woman, and to go back to try and feed my kids that need what they need, but I can't get them what they need because if you get Section 8 or if you get food stamps, everything is limited. Everything has a stipulation. You got to meet a certain criterion. And it's like, I'm literally just trying to live my life day to day on a day-to-day basis. And now because there are cameras and people can see it and there's access, I'm weary of the ways of the world. And so that song spoke to me. And I just think Solange took it past. Solange took the I can sing, I can dance, check me, I'm good, know that I'm good, feel me, you know, I got this tight ass dress on. I got legs for days. I can dress my ass off. She took that and then molded it into, but listen, we need to have some conversations. We need to have some deep conversations about depression. Let's talk about how is your heart, right? And I remember when we got to When I Get Home, she was saying, that when I get home, she had more things to feel and less things to say. And we'll get to that. But the things that she was saying in A Seat at the Table were just beyond relatable, just beyond what it means to, excuse me, sorry, listeners. It just, it's like if your best friend calls and tells you a secret that you didn't know, and then you contribute another part of the secret that you didn't know. Well, maybe not secrets. I don't think it's secrets. I just think it's like having a round table, because, well, some of these are secrets, but a lot of it, to me, A Seat at the Table was, I just want to come in and be a part of a world without having to change myself. I feel like that's the meaning of the title, A Seat at the Table. A Seat at the Table is also what Black people used to say, or if you remember in Hairspray, they were making Queen Latifah's character promote this like kinky hairspray, which is just so trash. And then Michelle Pfeiffer's character was like, don't have them do their song. They're just with that lewd dancing. And she's like, I just need a foot in the door, one toe at the time. And it's the same euphemism, I think, for A Seat at the Table. Black women across the board are looking to be accepted and respected. And I just don't understand why that is such a hard thing. I don't understand why it's so difficult. We want to be respected. We want to be loved. We want to be held accountable when it's necessary. We want to be considered. We want advantage. We want all those things that everyone else gets. Literally everybody else gets. And I don't think it's so hard that we have to shout for it. Another one of my favorites, when she talks about self-care, or when she talks about how, I actually think it's a combination of self-care and a combination of depression. And the reason why I say depression is because I haven't been clinically diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure, I'd say about 85% sure, that I am experiencing depression and have been for a bit. And you could literally do everything. Eat, smoke, drink, dance, have sex, date, cut your hair, grow your hair back, exercise. Anything that you want to do to try and make yourself feel better. But if you don't sit in it and go to therapy and break it down, it just will never go away. And I don't know if it ever necessarily goes away. I think it's something that has to be worked at, and you have to learn how to manage it. Like, same way grief never goes. You always have to just learn how to manage grief. But Cranes in the Sky, I used to think was about self-care. I know I said that just now, but I used to think it was mainly about, like doing something nice for yourself. But it's really about trying to escape depression, trying to escape, the society in itself, your own personal struggles on the surface, and then your own interpersonal struggles, and then, all of those things, and then you have kids, or you're married, or you're in the middle of a marriage, and it's like, those things are detrimental, and if they are not handled, whether they're properly handled or not, it can absolutely have a really unfortunate effect. And I think Cranes in the Sky got a lot of us to thinking like, wow, there's a lot of things happening that I'm really upset about. She also has these really wonderful interludes with her father, her mother, and Master P. And Master P is one of the richest self-made Black millionaires. And I feel like it's just so important because it's like he literally built his entire thing by himself. And then, refused to have the money of anyone else giving it to him. Refused to let anyone else give him that kind of attention or money. And that is really, 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 really powerful and important. And after that, she had, or I think before that, she has, you know, her father come on and talk about how when he was raised in the Deep South and how what that experience did to him and how he carries that on. And it's like, there's a lot of Black people, young Black people, who think that racism is over and that we're all just so upset for no good reason. And, you know, everyone's inclusive and we all struggle. But what I think Solange did in this piece in particular really drove home the fact that the suffering that we endure is innate in us, and we have a right to be mad about it. And we have a right to call people out. And we have a right to say, don't fucking touch my hair. Because you shouldn't touch anybody that doesn't want to be touched, that you don't know, that you're not, you know, have a close relationship with. You shouldn't be afraid to say, this is for us, by us. That all my niggas in the whole wide world. Shout out to my big dogs, Luther. Yo, Luther Young. Shout out to Luther at Young Luther on Instagram. He said something so, he's not important. That seems to be the word of the night. He said something that like clicked in my brain when he first heard that song. He was like, it's like a lullaby. For us, by us, all my niggas in the whole wide world. You're us. This shit is for us. That is so, yes. You don't get to have it. You don't get to be a part, beloved. You don't get to be a part of this conversation because this isn't the life that you live. And it's going to be like that. And I actually think, I don't know, I think I might be reaching a little far. But for me, that song in particular kind of challenges the idea that I think is absolutely ridiculous. But I think that song in particular challenges the idea that Black Americans don't have a culture. People have said that, and I hate it. It makes me angry. And the reason why it makes me angry is because everyone's like, well, in order for there to be a culture, you need to have an actual country that it can be related to. And blah, blah, blah. And, you know, because, you know, Black people are from all over. It doesn't, you know, you don't have any culture. That is absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. There is an absolute reason why if I turn on Before I Let Go, Candy, The Electric Slide, why every person, niggas across the board, get up out they seat, come into the lawn, come up on the dance floor, come into the patio, and move 4 steps to the right, 4 steps to the left, 4 steps back, 2 down, step back, roll around, and start again. Because it's cultural. There's a reason why you can go to more than one Pentecost church, Baptist church, African Methodist church, and you get in there and you get to clapping, and you get to hollering, you get to stomping. That is cultural. And not for nothing, when people who are not a part of the culture come in and sit down and look confused, it just isn't about you. It is a cultural difference. There's a reason why, you know, you'll see some child acting up towards a mom, and you're in the middle of the supermarket and you and another Black woman see it happening, and you look at each other and chuckle and walk past each other and yeah, girl. It's cultural. The communication, the relatability. It might not be the same thing. And I think the reason why it bothers me so much is because the Black culture is so big and so beautiful and so awesome. And can also be, you know, can also come with some truths and some, like, you know, tools that you need to just be aware of throughout your life. But it is expansive. It's never just one thing. And I think that is what makes me the most upset, that it has to be this one thing in order for it to be considered a culture, and that's trash. So when she put out, you know, For Us, By Us, and that beautiful, light, airy chorus at the top, and then this shit is for us. It's for real. These are the things that we got that are ours. And you can, and I'm all for doing what makes you happy, but there are women who will literally change facial features and body types just to look like black women, but then don't want to be part of the struggle, and then mad that black women are mad about it. I'm busy, you know, going back to minding your business. I'm busy getting shamed for my body when I wasn't even big, when I was super curvy, when I just had a little bit of everything. And I'm every single day, boyfriends, parents, grandparents, friends, everybody, strangers, has something to say about the way my body is shaped. Like, I can fucking help that. Trash. But you're out here getting your ass injected, and you're out here fixing your lips so they can be a little bit bigger or whatever. And it's like, if it makes you happy because you didn't like it or whatever, cool. But don't act like there's not a cultural part of that. And by cultural, in this context, I mean, don't act like you don't see that and be like, ooh, I want that. That's where I got that from. Because you sure as hell wasn't looking at, I don't know, Reese Witherspoon, whom I love. But, you know, you wasn't looking at Reese Witherspoon like, yeah, I want those lips. Or Laura Dern and be like, yep, that's what I'm looking for, those lips. And shout out to them, because they might have had surgery, but they still look like themselves. They still look like who they are, if they have had surgery. And if not, then they haven't. But all to say, got on a little tangent there, that song on Solange's album is really important. We go down a little bit further, and she actually says it here, borderline an ode to self-care. So there I am. Here I go, and there I went. Oh, that reminds me. Shout out to Fernie. Fernie, I don't know if you listen, but I'd love to have you on here. I just miss you so much, Fiercey. You were wonderful. He's my friend from college. Anywho, the next song after FUBU is Borderline, which literally says here an ode to self-care. Don't know how I missed that. But she also talks about what we talked about last week, which was acknowledge your rest. Let's take a break. There's so many things happening, and it's just flashing at you and talking at you and yelling at you and don't do this and you should do that, and you know, clap 3 times if you want $1 million if you're at your front door by the end of midnight, and I can fix your credit by one switch. Like, there's so much happening, funny and not funny, and serious and not serious. Otherwise, Solange said, girl, take a break, go smoke, relax, relate, release, let it go. And that's it. The balance of that is just so important. And I'm really proud of the fact that she just gave us all the things that we needed to hear, because it's important. It's important. So I'm actually going to bookmark it right here. And we're going to continue next week of I Need a Seat at the Table when I get home. And we're going to pick up with When I Get Home. And I'll do a quick recap, because we never really got to divulge into that album and talk about it and talk about some of the lyrics and why it was cool, and why people, the reasons why people I felt like didn't like it, the reasons why I loved it. We'll get into that next week. But This is Nobody Asked Me But Part 1. I need a seat at the table when I get home, and we'll be right back. This episode of Nobody Asked Me But is brought to you by So Music Entertainment. If you're looking for a professional recording studio to record your music projects, podcasts, voiceovers, or whatever your audio needs are, for a reasonable price, look no further. Visit somusicent.com. That's SOHMUSICENT.com for more details. You can also follow them at SoMusicEnt, which is SOHMUSICENT on Twitter and Instagram for a free consultation. And a special shout out to Mr. Ash, the engineer who mixed and edited our podcast today. And you can follow him at Mr. Ash X, which is MRASHX. They have some of the best engineers here at Soul Recording Studios, so don't wait any longer to make your dream project a reality. Visit somusicent.com or call 929-900-6044 now. And let's get back to our show. Okay, so we're back, and today's Black Nostalgia is school pictures. And why is it Black Nostalgia? Because you spent the night before ironing your clothes, getting your hair done, coming to school in your Cinderella's best. The best puffy dress, the half up, half down. Picture day is a huge thing for Black parents across the board. It's not even nostalgia really, but I know when I worked in another part of the school district, I had a baby and the child came in, made sure he had on his Gucci slides and his big chain, and he was just the cutest thing, and he was all of 3. Black picture day is a big day for Black people. You need your flat twist. You need your shape up. There have been many a times where it's like, I forgot it was picture day, and I looked a mess. But I know I got to the second, third, and fourth year of high school, and I was like, oh, I'm not missing it. Get your hair done, fill in that eyebrow, put on a lip. For those of us that were, of course, that didn't come until later, and actually, I think maybe I filled my eyebrows in. Actually, Gretchen filled my eyebrows in for senior pictures, and I gave her shit about it for the rest of our lives. And for that, Gretchen, here I am. I'm very sorry. Shout out to Gretchen, my love. But boy, oh boy, picture day. If you are not in your best bow tie, your best suspenders, the plaid shirt your mama got you, and every edge is laid, you are oiled up, fine and silky with the Dax grease, child, and you got the bobo of every color with the good twisty. That is picture day for that ass, which brings us to what will temporarily be the last part of our show, because as I told you before, I'm adding new things. But very unfortunately this week, my car was broken into, and thankfully they didn't take anything. Nothing was broken. And so, I think what happened was that what the general consensus was, it was just a crackhead that was looking for stuff, but didn't take anything, just was kind of going through my shit. So, you know how that should go. So the lesson of the day is lock your doors and just give your crackheads $2 so that they don't have to go through my car.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And that, my friends, concludes the first episode of season 2 of Nobody Asked Me But. Be sure to follow us, or follow me, at DeSandies, DE.Sandies on Instagram, and DeSandies __ on Twitter. And you get to follow Big Dawg Tash at deep_dark_melanin on Instagram, and TS for T.S. Rose on Instagram. And we love you guys. And remember to relax, relate, release. Bye.
Thank God this isn't live, huh?
All right, hi, we're back really quick. Oh, God. Blooper. The worst. That wasn't on your mic, I promise. It was in my sleeve. Okay, good. You can see me. That's also going to be a